Hi.
Yeah.
We've been trying to do this for a long time.
Forever.
Yeah, it seems like forever, but you're busy and I'm busy, and we can never quite coordinate circumstances. It's crazy. Well, two quick things. One, I think everybody knows who you are, but I'm sure there might be one or two people watching who don't. Kenna the Awesome, because I talk about you all the time in my groups, and I share your information, and I send people to you, and I tell everybody how amazing you are. Tell them who you are and what you do, because you're in transition, and I want to hear how you navigate this.
Wow. Well, thank you for having me tonight. Let me say that first. But I'm Kenna Williams. Most people call me Pusha or Pusha Key. Got that nickname some years ago for basically encouraging people to travel. And, you know, as I call it, book that ish, which is one of my trademarks. So most people know me from doing a lot of group trips, such as Dubai Blackout, doing Panama trips, Fiji trips, or what have you. So I'm basically an aerospace engineer turned travel consultant. I didn't know this would happen, but hey, this is what happens.
So you're an engineer who, oh, by the way, everybody go follow her on Instagram right now. Like, seriously.
This one and the other one.
She'll have you going some places. Oh, the Kenna Leo?
No, the Just Me Kenna is my other one as well. Just Me Kenna, Kenna.
I'll show them that one too.
Okay.
I forgot how many Instagram accounts you kids have these days.
A lot.
I don't know why you got 3,000 on one, 1,000, 2,000 on the other one.
Oh no.
It's just madness, I tell you. So let's do this, because I met you just because we're part of a bunch of different expat groups together.
We are.
And you and I are two people that have been to a lot of places and seen a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted you to tell us a couple of your stories because, you know, it's not a lot of people who get to leave a great lucrative career and turn what was something that was fun into a side hobby, a side habit, a side hustle. And then I remember listening to you go from doing it for fun to like, why are people expecting me to do this all the time now? And then you just started doing it all the time, and then it just kind of took over.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I for years, you know, I always loved to travel, loved going places, and I would see flight deals online, and I would, you know, post on my Facebook page, "Hey, here's a flight to XYZ country, let's go." And next thing I know, I found myself planning the entire trip, and I was thinking, you know, why was I doing this? I was doing it for free for a long time, and then I realized, why am I doing this for free? Everybody else does this, and they're getting paid for it. So basically, I started a company, my name, Kenna L. Williams, LLC, based off of just doing group trips. A lot of people put together trips. I have a lot of friends that do the same things that I do, but it got to the point where I'm so busy in my trips now, and I want to grow my business. And in order to grow your business, and you have a full-time job, something's got to suffer. You almost have to pick. So you have to pick and choose.
So are you telling me your vacation days were getting in the way of work?
What I'm saying is when you're running a business and you are the face of your business, you need to be present there. You need to be able to reach out to your clients. They need to be able to contact you, be available. So I cannot grow if I'm still working for someone. So I only offer 4 to 5 trips a year. Next year, that's more than doubling because I have so many trips I'm doing now. And then I'm also taking private clients is what I've been doing lately, which has been very good rather.
Wait. Well, before I forget, I want to go back to the LLC and then the private client. But what is a private client for booking trips? What do you mean?
What I call private clients these are people that come to me and they can say, hey, I'm turning 50 years old and I've been on your trips before. I want a trip and this is what I want. So they will contact me and I will basically curate an entire trip for them and their friends, wherever they want to go, or I can give them some new places to go. So I've been doing that as well. And also what I've been doing since I do group trips, my groups are now becoming private clients as well. As I typically do buy-ins for my trips, and they don't want to do the buy-ins. They want their own. So I've been doing their own groups so they don't have to go through the buy-in hoops.
So a buy-in is when people just basically pay it down.
Buy-ins, basically, most of my trips, they sell out pretty fast. So I charge what I call a small buy-in, which is like an administrative fee. So
Okay.
instead of a lot of people, oh, I want to go, put a little bit down on it. And, you're able to go join the group and then everything is done for you.
Must be nice. So this is one of those ritzy all-inclusive, you do everything for them?
Pretty much, I do everything. Help them find flights, put together the package, hotel activities. Basically, they just need to show up at the location, and when they show up, I'm always there. That's one thing that's probably different from my company than other companies, which is probably why I don't do that many trips. Is because I actually attend every trip, which is I like to think is part of the factor that I'm here for them.
Huh. So I see. I've never done a trip like that. I've never done a private trip. I've done everything just kind of ground up, hustled my way through. But let me back up for a minute.
Okay.
You said you turned yourself into an LLC. One of the reasons that I always introduce people like you, it's not just I jumped off the cliff and I worked for myself.
Mm-hmm.
What is an LLC and what prompted you to do it? And how does that affect the average person, in your opinion? I understand you're not legal counsel.
And I have an attorney, by the way. So you know who my attorney is, and she would love to be on this call tonight since we're talking about legal things. But when you are in a business that you're affecting a lot of people, it's important that you also protect your client and also protect yourself. So in order to protect myself, protect my assets, I'm sitting here in my house. If something were to happen and someone were to sue me personally, they could take the house or whatever. So I basically decided I need protection. So I got protection through having a business with the LLC, also have business insurance for all types of things. So it's basically, I'm not just somebody online peddling trips. I'm a real business,
And with an LLC, what does that mean? Limited liability, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right, that's correct.
And what does that, for example, let's say I go on a trip with you and you say, Wateef, don't eat anything off the street, and my big dumb ass goes and does it anyway, and I get sick. Can I sue you? And what happens if I do?
No, you cannot sue me for that because I didn't tell you to eat that. But I'm glad you brought that up because that is why we require you to have travel insurance on your trips. Because if something happens to you on a trip, you need to be able to make sure that you can get medical attention. If you need to be airlifted back to wherever you live, that is available to you. So travel insurance is definitely required on pretty much every trip. Everybody requires it now.
Really? Because I guess I just live wild.
See, you know what happened to me in 2015. So after my 2015 accident, I cannot play wild anymore.
Well, okay, let's do this. I would not have opened that can up if
It's okay.
I actually was going to avoid it because I don't know. That's something you carry with you.
Mm-hmm. Every day.
But if it's something you're comfortable talking about, tell them what's going on.
Sure, I'm comfortable. I mean, at this point, I'm at almost the 5-year mark, and don't let me sound, lackadaisical about it because it's something that you can see here. I've got the scars from it. I see it every day. I have it tattooed on my back. So actually, I have a tattoo on my back that tells the story of the accident. So it's something that you live with on a regular daily basis. But back in January 16, 2015, I was in Panama City, outside of the city, about 2 hours or so outside of the city, traveling up in the hills of Panama. And unfortunately, the vehicle that I was in lost control and went over a cliff. When that vehicle went over a cliff, there were 13 of us inside the vehicle, 2 people that were from the same travel group that we met in. Those 2 people, unfortunately, they passed away. Everybody else in the accident had some type of injury, whether people had broken bones, broken ankles, cut up arms, whatever. Everybody had some type of injury. Even myself, I had surgery, had to go live with my parents for 4 months. That was fun. Stay with them for a while I was recovering. And, it's one of those things that you never forget. And also something that really after that incident, I would say, people say, oh, it changed my life. It really did change my life. I actually After the accident, called some people, apologized for some things that I had done to them years ago. And it's something that just really gives you a new lease on life. And after that, I just basically, very thankful for having basically another chance to get things right.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful because I think of all the things that I did that were intentionally stupid. I did the running of the bulls in Spain. I did things that are just like knocking on death's door, and when he answers, you just kick him in the balls.
Yes.
But that's stupidity. And I often think that would have probably been a more comfortable accident to happen because I know that I actively opened the door and said, "Hey, dangerous, stupid thing, why don't you do this with me?"
Right.
And we have a problem. Everyone has a problem with random. When life teaches you, you're just not special. Yeah, it can happen to anyone. That random, the cold indifference of the universe.
Right.
Oh, this is when I was in Spain. Look at that handsome young gentleman. Look at that. That was a good time. Lots of food. I don't even know what I ate most of the time. It was just good. Look at my hat. Look at that hat. Damn.
Bring back memories.
I had that hat for years. That shirt I had for decades. I remember regretting posting this picture because people asked me that I have a child and a girl out there, and I was like, "The kid is like 9. That kid is like 9. They're my friends. They're just some people I knew." It was crazy. But let me go back out, just adding a little bit of levity to it. Yeah, when we figure out that cold indifference of the universe, it can be painful. When we understand we're not special, nothing's gonna save you, and things can get you.
Pretty
and that's what stings, But I'm glad that you walked away from it, and it breaks my heart that 2 people didn't. And has everyone managed to keep traveling with it? I mean, do people still manage to, hey, I'm going to go out here and do this?
Yeah, for the most part, our group, most of them, they still travel. We had one person, unfortunately, she, I don't want to say she's kind of like in a paralyzed state, so she will probably be like that, unfortunately, probably the rest of her life. But I had a chance to visit her after the accident. I actually want to get a chance to go visit her again soon, just to see her. The time that I was there, I do remember that although she can't talk, she remembered who we were and she could laugh, and so it was it was good to see that. But for the most part, most of the group, they still travel. And oddly, you would think, for me, after having this kind of accident, I tell people that I'm Panamanian at this point, because if you die somewhere, basically have a rebirth there, that place becomes your new home. So for all practical purposes, I'm Panamanian, and I was just in Panama 2 weeks ago. I go often.
And so Panama is a place that's always going to be. Now let's go into some of the other things, because I want to always talk to people who made that other big step. I call one of the first big steps when we begin to travel, but you and I, but I want to focus on you. You're doing the second passport. You want to get the whole pie.
Trying to.
In a couple places like Panama, Malaysia. How did you choose where? Like, what are some of the things that go into that decision? Because for me, there are a lot of books out there that show you places that it's easy to have a second passport or a second citizen. Nothing is easy. Easier to have a second passport or a second citizenship, but none of those things really factor in how much you enjoy it. Brazil is a place I'm getting my second passport soon, and it is a bureaucratic maelstrom. That's not a word I use every day. But you have to really want it. What about the places you're looking at? What factors into that?
Well, I look at this point in my life, I'm, as I would call, I'm actually going through a transition now. And I'm sure my transition will shock a lot of people. I'm sure people are probably looking at this like, oh, she didn't tell us. No, I didn't tell you. But anyway, the thing about this.
You know how you tell them? You take a picture of your plane ticket and just text it to them and be like, I'll talk to y'all later.
But no, like I said, at this stage of my life, I'm at a point where I want to, live a more global life. So what I've been doing is basically researching, where can I live? Um, who will give me at least residency without jumping too many hoops? Or what do I need to show? So that's what I've been doing. I initially had looked at going to Malaysia a few years ago. So I had this big idea to move to Malaysia. I had looked up how to do it, and I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Then I started. Then I went on a trip last year, met somebody, and yeah. Anyway, as life happens, so that person lived in South Africa, and I was like, okay, well, all right, this looks like a good place for me to come. I started looking at visa processes, and I was like, wow, this is a visa. I don't want to say it's easy, but it was pretty. A process was pretty straightforward. And for those that may be listening that don't know, I have obtained residency in South Africa. So,
now, what are the minimum requirements for that? For you to be resident in South Africa, and everyone's case is different. I understand that, but what was required for you? Like, what were the things that you did?
Well, for me, there are so many different types of visa processes for South Africa. So it depends on what you want to do. If you have a special degree, say you're an engineer, you have some type of medical skills, or you have a degree that falls on their critical skills list, you can actually move. You can actually get a residency visa to South Africa based off of whatever your degree is, and they will give it to you for 5 years, provided you meet their criteria, and they will tell you what those particular degrees are or those specialties. But I don't have that because I have no intention to work for anybody there. So I actually have what's called a retiree visa. So a retiree visa for South Africa basically allows you to have a residency for 4 years. You can continuously reinstate it. I hate to say this, but the only way I was able to get this visa was because money. You had to show that you had a certain amount of money.
Slow down. There are two obscenities occurring right now. The first obscenity is that there are people watching who didn't click the thumbs up button and share it someplace. I tell everybody all the time, we don't have any kind of arrangement with Google or YouTube. The only way I meet people is if you share it, and share it on your Facebook or your Twitter or your Instagram, because that's how I meet other cool people to talk to you guys about things that might help you, because I'm at a stage in my life where I'm like, Kenna, I'm giving the game away. I'm trying to give everybody. The second atrocity that just occurred is, how dare you be in any way ashamed or looking sideways when you say it took money to get something done. Do you understand? I came from a world of financial professionalism. That's how I managed to get out of the game so young. Why do people want to talk about money?
Nobody likes to talk about money, because I think people don't talk about money because, I don't know, people don't really trust people when it comes to money, or you don't know that the information that you're giving is good information, which reminds me, you just reminded me of something I need to sign up for.
Now, I want to show you something before I continue. I just want you to read the title of this other YouTube bit I did with a buddy of mine. What does that say?
Money is everything.
Money is everything. And people get angry and everybody gets all in their feelings. Money is everything. It's only not everything when it's always everything. The people who are just uncomfortable talking about it are the ones who haven't figured out how to make their money work for them, and they work for money. I tell people all the time, if you're not comfortable talking about money, you'll just be poor. There's no way out, because as you just pointed out, money gets shit done. When you were able to provide the amount of money that they required to do your paperwork, they did it. It's like putting coins into the machine and then the candy comes out. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is so many people think, well, it's just not possible and it shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't is a word, sexist moment. Shouldn't is a word that weak men use. That's some of the least masculine shit you can say as a man listening to this. Oh, it shouldn't work that way. You should be able to. Who cares about should? So you went down to their government. You showed them, like, I'm sure you had to do what I did. I had to do the whole show them the FBI report to prove I'm not a criminal, blah, blah, blah. Then did they make you do the whole buy property, or did you put money in the bank?
Neither. for a retiree visa for South Africa, the only thing you need to show is you need to show that you have either in the bank or either some type of investments or whatever that you don't even have to give them. You just have to show that you have, I don't remember the exact amount, but it's like maybe $2,500 a month for 4 years. You have to show that full amount. So that's the only thing you have to show.
So there are people out there right now that are living poor. Let me say it again, that are living hand to mouth, scrounging for bread, who bring in working jobs that they could do anywhere in the world, working online someplace, or have a side skill they could bump up, making more than $2,500 a month. I know people who have a side job making $3,000 a month just so they can make ends meet. And the side job is something they do online or a skill they have. Yet people want to claim I can't do it. And that's money. Well, how bad do you want to see the world? Because if I'm telling you about the girl, she's telling you about South Africa, Malaysia. I miss Malaysia. Sort of. When was the last time you were there?
I was in Malaysia last month. No, I'm sorry, not last year. I was there last year in, I think it was May. Last year I was there. And probably be back there again in the next 6 or 7 months.
And you go to KL? I'm sorry, Kuala Lumpur?
No, I know KL. Yes.
But they people listening might not. I'm sorry.
I know KL.
You're doing it for the average. Hustle. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia is beautiful.
It is. And the food is wonderful there. I love it there.
I think that's the same shirt I was wearing in Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, I buy stuff and keep it till the wheels fall off. This dude looked at me like, if you don't want to buy something, why are you taking my picture? So what attracted you to Malaysia?
Malaysia, they, again, looking at different visa processes, they have a visa system there for businesses that will allow you to come in for basically, they'll give you an expat visa that will allow you to work for, I think it's like 3 or 4 years there. So I was looking at doing that. The cost, I thought for business was relatively inexpensive. So I was like, this is easy. I could do this. So basically what you do is you have a business, you set up what they call a regional office there. However, they don't allow you to work the business there, but they allow you to basically go. In other words, you can't sign contracts in Malaysia, which, I mean, you don't care. You're there basically.
Wait. Okay, you just confused me. You can set up a business in Malaysia.
You can set up on here's the deal. This is basically, it's like preliminary information. They allow you to come in there and basically investigate if Malaysia is somewhere you want to do business. So with doing this, they give you, I think it's a 3 or 4 year visa. You can have an expat come in and work. They can't work. They can like work a regular job there. They give them that ability to work, but you can't sign any contracts for your business in Malaysia. So basically they allow you to do research for about 3 to 4 years. And that visa I thought was pretty good without having to jump through other hoops, because I looked at doing, I think it's called MM2H, my Malaysia home, but that visa costs a lot of money. And I was like, I'm not spending this type of money. It's a lot of money to do that. A lot.
And now will this allow you to transition over into the other place, into the other visa if you want to stay longer?
It will. I think if I remember correctly, because I looked at this last week, I think you can apply again on that one. So basically, you could give yourself a good 6 to 8 years in Malaysia doing research to see, is this somewhere I want to do business? Yeah. It's regional office and representative office is what that visa is called. If you want the information, I'll send it to you because I've got it in my emails, because I looked at it for a long time. I had contacted an agent in Malaysia because you need an agent to help you with that visa. It's relative.
A fixer, yeah? A fixer?
Yeah, it's not too expensive. I think looking at everything that you would have to do, and I don't think they require you to put any money in a bank, but I think that process would cost you a little under 3,000.
You're throwing up numbers that just aren't crazy. I mean, people, and I tell people this all the time in different places that I've been. Everybody thinks you have to have like $500,000 to get on an airplane, and there are countries that will let you come, enjoy the food. The biggest thing for most people is that when they find out how it's not that difficult, they're still afraid to do it.
Well, I mean, look at me. This has taken me a long time to get to this point because sometimes, especially for somebody like me, I'm basically sitting in a position that I've had for almost 20 years. At my job, I'm what they call topped out in salary. So where is somebody going to go? And I'm opting to do something that gives me time to do what I want to do. So it's just different. People can do it, but I'm very fortunate because I don't have any children and I'm not married.
Oh, join the club.
So I don't have any children. I'm not married. So I'm very flexible. And, it's funny because my family, they've known, what I was going to do. This was no surprise to them. And, most of them were like, well, we knew you were going to do this anyway. What took you so long? This was, the next thing that we were expecting. So, and, I'm at the point now where, my parents have already passed. It's just my brother has passed away. So it's really just me. I have a younger brother, but, he's busy with his family. So they're not thinking about me. So this is the prime time for me to, go and do what I want to do. I see this picture.
running. So would you think, and I'm letting you shamelessly promote yourself, but oh, by the way, Vandra, look at what Vandra said.
Oh, hi, Van.
Say hello to everybody.
Hey, Chandra. Memphis, Maine. Ghana Warrior, hello.
if Ghana Warrior is somebody that you want to out, like if that anybody
I don't know who it is.
You got fans everywhere, don't you? Just random people. Look.
Book that ish. That's one of my trademarks.
When you say trademark, that's your trade, like you literally trademarked it, right?
I have that trademark, and also I own the name Dubai Blackout is another trademark that I own as well, which, if you can let me say this, anybody out there that's listening or anyone that will listen to this later, if you own something, it's your name or whatever, please trademark it before somebody takes it from you. And I had a situation where somebody basically tried to steal one of my trademarks, but fortunately I have an attorney to handle those type of matters. But definitely, if you have an idea or something, you're not sure about it, get an attorney, which I hate to talk about. Let me stop right now.
No, go ahead.
It's about money. You have to pay. If it's something that is important to you, you have to pay to protect your intellectual property. So anyone out there, if you have an idea or anything, please, please, please trademark your shit.
And people don't want to listen. They want to think that, it's a good idea. I'm just going to hold on to it.
Okay. Van, Chandra, please drop this link on your Facebook page. Let them know your Memphis girl is here. These are my Memphis folks.
And you know what? I also appreciate that everybody's clicking thumbs up. That means a lot. I really appreciate that too. Oh my goodness, the comments are. Wait. Look at this one.
She's right. Protect your neck. It's true, because a lot of people out there, and this is one thing I need to say this as well, if you will allow me to say this. I'm in a lot of business groups on Facebook, and there are a lot of great groups out there. But the biggest thing is I see people dropping, what do you think about this? I think I'm going to trademark this name. I'm thinking, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Why are you dropping your information? You haven't even trademarked it. And there was an incident in one of the groups I was in where someone dropped something and someone else stole it. But wait, they didn't steal it because you hadn't trademarked it. So definitely get it trademarked.
Wow.
Hey, friend, lady for life.
It's one of those, yeah, it's one of those things where if you have it, it's worth protecting.
Right.
Yeah, if you have it, it's worth protecting. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people have a lot of great ideas. I'll tell you, when I was still a young wolf, I had friends that would do things like they would go on and every day sit down and think of all the things people said that were good ideas and not steal because they hadn't trademarked it, take the URL, go on and register it. And like 99 of them would just turn out to be bullshit. They just spent $10 on nothing. But one of them would hit. One of them would be somebody's company, and he would call them up and say, hey, I got a lot of traffic coming through here because people looking for you. Do you want to make a deal?
Right. Sell the link.
Yeah. The internet streets are trifling.
It's true. Natalie's is exactly true. I've seen that before where, again, in these business groups, and I keep saying that I'm going to leave business groups on Facebook, but I stay in them because people post things. What do you think about this? And I'm like, you put your full entire design in a group of 40,000 people. Don't think someone didn't go to GoDaddy or any other Google links or whatever to buy up your link. And now when you're ready to, launch your page, you can't.
I always give people the first piece of advice I give them: own your name.
You told me that. That's the first thing you told me.
Own your name, because at some point you're going to do something really smart or really stupid, and people are going to come looking for you, and you need to be able to control that. Even if all you do is own your name and put your resume there. Own your name so you can control the narratives. What did that say, Natalie?
Since I made so much money by being ahead of folks and bought up tons of domain names in the late 90s and early 200s.
Natalie is a wolf. She's out there just taking everybody's lunch.
Beast mode.
So you got your LLC as a business registration, because I think LLC, it said it gives you protection. Of course, now that's something you have to pay for every month, right?
You pay every year for to be registered as an LLC, but I pay insurance every year too, so you have that as well.
Do you worry about the things you protect being protected overseas? One of the things I learned living in a place like China. China's awesome. Love China. Love you guys. They will rob you blind. Everything that's not nailed down, they will take it and say, "What are you talking about? I've always had this. What do you mean?" I've gone into Apple stores with my friends to get like a new Apple Cord computer, and one of my friends will say, "Wait a minute." Take out his phone and look and see what are the local Apple store addresses. He's like, "This isn't a real Apple store, but it looks legit." Nope. So when you go overseas, how do you protect your brain power? How do you protect your intellectual property?
At that point, I mean, I don't want to say that you're not using it at that point, because a lot of the things, at that point, everything that I've needed to do was already done before I left. So at that point, I'm just in, if you will call, host mode.
Okay. Stopping by. I'm saying something to your constituency.
Okay.
Please be sure to subscribe. I can't type, so
That's okay.
People think that because I'm a writer. Oh, by the way, for people who don't know, I am a writer, editor, proofreader. My main bread and butter that I've been able to take all over the world is you have a website. You wrote your website, but I guarantee that your ability to correctly punctuate and spell isn't at a university level. People hire me to do that. What's that? You wrote a book about something and you need someone to proofread it, correct all the grammar, make sure it flows as a book. That's what I do. One of my biggest things lately has been writing resumes. People call me and ask me to write a resume for them. They in the United States, they get charged $500 or $600 for it, and I'm able to do it for a lot less because I'm living overseas. But a quality resume, I can't tell you people how important that is. If it's not me you hire, that's fine, but get somebody. Oh, what Natalie jumped in to say something. What does that say? The domain game has changed. However, there are folks and major businesses that are waiting in the West Wing to steal your ideas, pitches, tweet content, twerk videos, etc. Yeah,
very true. Very true.
I was just looking online, and they're talking about how they have a situation that just happened with, I think it's a Beyonce album, where a distribution company that's kind of shady uploaded an album. The album got millions of likes and hits, and they made several $100,000. But here's the trick. It wasn't a real Beyonce album. He had gone online to the dark corners of the universe, found every piece of leaked information, every leaked video, every leaked song that she did, compiled it to an album, made it look legit, uploaded it. So now they're in this situation where we don't even know how to deal with that. The artists can't go after. They could go after him, but they don't think it's worth the time legally because it's work they did. He's making them more popular, and it's stuff that they couldn't publish legally anyway.
Right.
Which is where you get the concept of artists leaking their own work. So for say you write this amazing song, but you can't get, I don't know, Michael Jackson's estate to clear a sample. You can't release that song at all. So what do? They say, oh, someone stole it off my website. Someone stole it off my computer. It still makes you famous. But now you got a situation where these people are making millions on advertising dollars. So the internet has created situations that no one could see coming.
Yeah.
No one could see coming. Nobody could be ready for that. And I'm glad to be alive during these wild and woolly times because I've been enjoying the ride. So let me do this. I'm going to do one quick share with the screen, and then I'm going to let you have the last word, and then I'm going to let you go to bed, and then I'm going to get some other stuff done.
It's only
so
7 p.m. here.
Well, 7 p.m. for you. It's almost 11 p.m. here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. But you know what? Listen, this is the showman in me. We always leave him wanting more, so now you're going to come back, right?
I have to come back once I make my transition. As you know, like we said, I'm in transition right now, and there's some things that will be changing very soon here, and I've got departure dates and all of this type of thing for my new life.
So let's do this. First, I'm going to tell everybody to go take a look at this because this is how, let's see. Look at that.
And we're almost done. I'm actually still launching this, so it should be ready soon.
LLC. And for those of you who want to know anything more about me, feel free to also look at me. I'm on LinkedIn. You can join me there. You can look at some of my professional contacts and references for what I do. Always love meeting new people. And with that, Kenna, I'll give you the last word. Is there anything you want to give them?
The only thing I will probably tell people is, and this is something that I learned from you, when you're about to make a major transition in your life, shut up and just do it. Don't wait and ask people what they think about it. If you've already made that decision to do it, that's why a lot of people that are probably watching have no idea what I'm talking about because I've not said anything publicly. So this is probably a first. So I imagine as soon as I get off this line, I'm probably going to have some emails, some inboxes. You know, what the hell are you talking about? What new life? You know. But
well, if you notice, I let you tell it. I wasn't trying to.
No, you know, like I said, this has been something that has been in the works for a while. You know, I think how to say this. I'm at the point now in life where material things don't really matter. They don't really matter anymore. I mean, I'm here in this 3-story house. I spend all my time in my room. These things, I don't care about them anymore. They're just not. They're not important, you know. So I opting to live a different life. Hey, I know who that is.
Who? Casa de Vida?
Is that Julie? I think that's Julie.
And Muriel?
Muriel, I know Muriel. Hello.
And Deborah.
Deborah. These are some of these people are actually some of the clients that have been on my trips.
Cool.
So cool.
Well, I hope they click on subscribe and come back and watch some of the other stuff. But when you were a kid, did anybody, when they were a kid, what was the show where she would put the magic mirror up and say, I see Bob and I see Willie? What was that?
Oh no.
There was the magic mirror. And because you know how you're saying, oh, hello to everybody.
Oh. I don't know. Look, I think I'm slightly older than you are, but I still don't know it.
There was a magic mirror show, and she would always hold it up and look at the television screen and say, I see Bobby and I see what. And I just used to get mad because, like, how can you see YusefWateef? Oh, Muriel, wait, was that Romper Room? Magic mirror. Hold on. You. Muriel got the Internet Award for the day. Look, that's it.
Oh, I don't remember.
She used to hold up.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now that I look at it, yes, I remember this.
Remember Romper Room, and it was she would hold up the magic mirror. And if you really want to, if you really want to go off the reservation, because we're off script now. Okay, remember LeVar Burton reading Rainbow?
Yes, my favorite show as a kid.
But now, here's something interesting. He was in an interview, and he said that, at the time when he was young doing Reading Rainbow, he had no idea that it was going to be what it was. It was just awesome, and he just did it. But it had a very interesting side effect that he said he had to kind of figure out how to deal with this as he got older. Mm-hmm. Well, there are people that were small children when he was on that show that he would read, and it's like you're reading to him, because he has his own podcast, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's called LeVar Burton Reads.
Okay.
Because he has an excellent speaking voice. Well, here's the interesting part. He said, now that they're adults, some of them have become quite successful, and he'll get contacted by people who ask how much would it cost for him to come to their house and read to them. And he's like, do that? And they're like, no, I've got cash. It's cool. How much? And he's like, no, I'm not comfortable coming to your house and reading to you.
Hey, there is a market for everything. If they can watch people eat crab legs on YouTube, why not have LeVar Burton come to the house and read? Why not? Why not?
Yo, Muriel, I was so bitter because I couldn't understand why she didn't say, hey, YusefWateef, I see you out there. I was. It's like when you sell the keychain and you start looking for your name. You're like, how come they don't have my name? They've got Bobby William. What's up, Natalie? Yeah, that's just it goes back. I actually, and since we're so far off script anyway, I read an article about children's television. Mm-hmm. And how all those grants and set-asides on public television that literally took children from the 70s and 80s and some of them in the 60s and taught them how to read and taught them so many skills, all that's gone. There's no place you can put your child in front of a television and say, watch this while I finish up after work. Mm-hmm. You could put it on PBS or certain other things, but now all that's gone. Mm-hmm. All those shows that had only one, because there was a certain federal mandate that dictated those things be set aside. They're all gone now.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like the numbers. I mean, anyone that grew up in the 70s, I'm going to say something I'm pretty sure for those that grew up in the 70s will know what this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you don't know that.
Oh, yeah.
From Sesame Street, that was like, how we learned our numbers. Again, I remember watching, Reading Rainbow all the time, Mr. Rogers, which I understand there's a new movie coming out. About him. So, these are the classics that, nowadays we're so, everybody has a cell phone or something. Yes, my numbers. Yes.
Now, here's the other part. You want to see something really interesting?
Uh-huh.
Do you know who sung that?
No.
Hold on. You're going to learn today.
Who did this?
I'm looking for a picture of them. If they have ever took it, I don't think they ever took any pictures doing it. But it's one of the reasons that it's such an amazing song and stuck with you is because, drum roll, that was the Pointer Sisters.
What? Never knew that.
Yep.
Wow. I never knew that.
That was such a good song.
Wow. I never knew that. Wow.
John Nothing, listen, I was just having a conversation. With someone about how when I was a financial professional, I started studying for my Series 6, Series 63, a couple of financial exams, and I thought, this is going to be hard. I'm going to have to sweat my ass off over it. And I thought, maybe I'm just stupid because it wasn't as difficult as I thought. And then I took the exam and I passed. And I can tell you, if you put me in front of a class of high school seniors for one semester, I could teach them the fundamentals of mutual funds and the bond market with no problem at all. Give me another semester teaching the stock market. Not what stocks do or whether they're good or bad, but the fundamentals of how to invest. Anyone can learn that in school, but they will not teach you that shit. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, everybody, we just said goodbye 4 times. I want everybody to click subscribe, right? Keep coming back for other stuff with other people and have fun. And I also want everybody to share this somewhere, like copy and paste the link on your Facebook or your Twitter or your Instagram or whatever the cool people do these days, because this is how I meet good people, you know, as I travel the world and do different things. Kenna, when are you gonna come and see me in Brazil?
You know what? We keep having this discussion. How many years have we been talking about this? But actually, since you're talking about this, next year my travel schedule is like sick, wicked sick. And I'm trying to see if I can swing through for at least a long layover, looking at July, because I need to go to Peru.
Now, see, y'all heard her promise me.
I didn't promise. I said try.
Bye. Y'all heard her promise me. I want you to hold her to that. She just promised me.